Hey guys, I'm super excited. We've got Dawn Daly with us from House of Brokers Realty in Columbia, Missouri. Dawn is an absolutely got a phenomenal story. We're just starting to talk about it right before the program, and I said, let's stop. I want everybody to hear this incredible arc. I've been in business for 35 years. I've never heard of anybody having this kind of arc in their business. So tell us how you got into the real estate business. This is so fascinating. So tell us.
Yeah, for sure. So I just had my first son. My husband and I were debating about me being a work at home or stay at home mom, and that just wasn't quite for me. I loved my son, but I knew I needed the corporate world. So I started looking, and I knew real estate was one of my passions. And I just kind of went hand in hand with my father being a very big entrepreneur and my mother being a teacher. I knew this was something I really wanted to do because I could give back and I love to help people. So found the job and they were hiring for a receptionist. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I loved it. I hopped right in and found that I loved everyone I worked with. I loved that we served a greater purpose, that it wasn't just selling homes, that we were actually providing housing, as one of the
Yeah.
things that we start dreaming about from the time we're toddlers. So
Right,
that was
right.
very much a huge passion for me. And then they quickly discovered that they could not keep me at the front desk. And so I started doing some marketing for our agents and doing some digital design for them. Also started doing technology. So found that they had computer needs and we didn't have a technology person at the time. So I started going in and fixing their computers, whether it be hardware or actually just applications. So started doing that,
Wow.
then quickly moved into training, found that we didn't have a training platform for our agents. And so I am um, an eternal learner. I love to learn. I love to be able to learn that so I can share it with others. And so I dived right in and started learning about the real estate world and everything that agents needed to know and what could benefit them. So I started a training platform for them. And it was kind of just grew from there.
And
So,
then, I mean, so you start as a receptionist, you move through all these roles in the company, becoming a trainer and a coach and a mentor in the company. And then at some point, and today, you're now the owner of the company, which is just
yes.
incredible. I mean, what a crazy story.
Yes.
It's absolutely phenomenal. And what
Yeah.
a great thing for your current staff members to say, wow, there's not a job that Dawn has not done at this company. Nobody can
That's very
say, I
true.
haven't got my hands dirty doing this stuff, right? It's amazing.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely have gotten really dirty over the years for sure. And I loved it. I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, talk to us because your company, you're super well respected in your community. I think you've got a great reputation. Tell us about the company culture, what you built there.
sure. Yeah. So, our company culture is very important to me. We are leaders, servant leaders from the top down. We're very big in collaboration. We do a lot of sharing. It's not a competitive environment for us at all. And that's very, very, very important to me. And I think with me not being a competing owner, it also changes that landscape for us too. So
Mm,
that collaboration, I think, is even deeper for us. I know not everyone has can afford to do that or has the opportunity to do that because usually you get in because you have a real estate agent, you've grown, you've had a team, and now you want to be a broker owner. For
yeah.
me, it's been a little bit different path. So I think I'm very fortunate that I get to lead in a very neutral territory, that I'm not competing against our own agents. And I think that culture creates a really um, it's very wholesome, it's very healthy. I think for all of our agents that are involved, they feel that they have a true partner, that's right there along with them in their business.
Well, I think that it makes a huge difference when you're able to be non-competing because you're able to have that open door policy where they can come in and ask you a question or they can just kind of sit with you and work through problems. It makes a massive, massive difference.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
curious because you said you're passionate about training and mentorship. What does that look like for your company? Because every company is a little bit different in how they approach that aspect of helping agents grow. How does it look like for your company?
Yeah, training is very, very important to us as well as a mentorship. So we have a mentorship program for any new agent. So any new agent joining our company must join the mentorship program. It's a
Okay.
2-year program. We do not allow a new agent to join without having that experience. It's a 3-tier program. And what I mean by that is we have our broker who is in charge of compliance and kind of the legal side of things, the forms, things like that. Then I'm on the business strategy, coaching, accountability side. And then we have a seasoned agent in that's actively, buying and selling real estate, who
Yeah.
is their main mentor, right? So
Gotcha.
they actually come with they get three mentors when they join our company.
Wow.
2 years. We've debated back and forth many times. Do we keep it 2 years? Do we go on a number of transactions? And
Yeah.
we've just found that 2 years is a good amount of time, just because we know that the rates, the attrition rates and things like that
Oh,
with
yeah.
agents in the business, it's time in the market. I mean, you can have three transactions, but is three transactions really going to show you? I think you really need eyes on it for a lot longer to get kind of the whole gist of it, because there's a lot to this business that really people underestimate.
Yeah.
So it's
And
very important to us.
how do the agents react? Are they a year in and be like, okay, I don't need a mentor anymore? Or do they like, no, no, I love this. This is great. What's their reaction to it?
Well, so it's interesting. Almost everyone we hire, they're so excited about it.
Yeah.
And then we have agents from other companies who are like, that's really cool that you do that. How do you do that? How do you
Yeah.
manage that? How do you
Yeah.
maintain that? And it's like, don't
Yeah.
ask me that question because I don't want to think about it, right? For the most part, I just want to do it and get through every day. But it is a monster to manage and do. But I think it's very important for our industry that we have really specialized agents who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We hear all the time, our agents and even agents from other companies like, well, I just worked with that agent and they have no idea what they're doing. They didn't even know
Yes.
what form, they didn't know what to say, they didn't know what to do it. And so a lot of our agents are like, even our new ones are like, the other agent didn't know, so they had me complete the forms and they had me do this, and
Right.
they couldn't take care of their side. So that makes me feel good, but also it makes me feel very sad for our industry, that we don't
Hmm.
have more brokers that take a more frontline role in training the people that they're responsible for. So I feel a very deep responsibility to make sure that we have educated industry professionals.
I think that's amazing. And the numbers are always kind of in flux, but we always hear the number. There's an 87% attrition rate for people at the first 2 years in the business.
Mhm.
87% don't make it. I'm assuming that your number must be much, much lower than that. You must be, having, I'm sure there's still some attrition, but it can't,
Yeah.
I'm sure because of your 2 year program, you got to be helping people stay in the business now.
For sure. Yeah. So we have a very low attrition rate. I have not put our numbers to that recently because, like I said, I just dive in and I just help. And so,
Yeah.
what we really try to do is we coach them because they always get in a really rough spot. I mean, that first year is tough, because, and the other thing is for us, they're full time. So, we only accept full time. So, if they have a hobby, that's fine. But we really don't want them to have a part time job or a full time job outside of real estate. I
Sure.
don't think that that's fair to the consumer, to be honest with you. So we really focus on getting in front of them prior to them even taking the classes, right? So if we can get in front of them before they take the classes, meet with them, talk to them, coach them along that way so that
Hmm.
they can be prepared financially to let go of that full-time job or that part-time job, then they can
Yes.
devote and commit the time needed to really get this business off the ground. So I think that helps too.
Hmm.
There's a lot of moving parts in our mentorship.
Yeah.
But yes, our attrition rate is definitely very low.
So interesting. Well, I imagine that people that are experienced agents that are with your firm appreciate the fact that you're not just bringing in new agents and there's a revolving door, that you're really taking the time to train them because ultimately your experienced agents are the ones that have to deal with them in transactions, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and the rest of the public as well. But we all know the companies out there that provide no training and no, backup and no broker support. So what a difference, I think. Um,
Yeah.
I think with your company also has a great culture in the sense that I know you give back to the community, and I know you're doing a lot of things on that front. What does that look like for you guys, and what you're doing kind of on a social level in your community?
So we try to diversify our efforts to our community because we have a very large community that there's a lot of philanthropic events on any given day,
Right.
right?
You make your
And so
choices.
and right, and we want to support all of them as much as possible. So each year it's a little bit different for us, just so that we can kind of spread the wealth. We
Mhm.
love to get our hands dirty. We dive in. We don't only do monetary donations. We actually jump in and we do different things. November is a huge give back month for us, which I think is across the United States. So for us, that's a really big deal. We decorate for the holidays for some of the local charities for their homes that have the children and the women in them.
Wow.
We also, donate our local food bank. We also participate in the food days. We do United Way, House Builds. I mean, there's a lot of different charities that we're involved in.
Yeah.
Stop Human Trafficking is going to be one that's coming up for us that we're going to do a large campaign for. But not only do we give to them and donate to them, we have them come in and speak. We want people in our
Mhm.
office to know about their charities and
Yeah.
understand why we're giving to them so
Mhm.
that others may help too. But
Yeah.
not just our agents, but our agents can share that information with their clients, and then their clients can get, introduced to a charity because sometimes they want to help. They just don't know where or what to do. So
Sure. I love it. So you're not a franchise, you're an independent company, but we're all competing with franchises out there in the market.
for sure. Yeah.
And so when people are saying, hey, I'm thinking about joining your firm, you are obviously come from a background of being running the technology department of your company. And that's one
Hmm.
thing that, sometimes franchises will say, well, we got this tech or that tech.
Yeah.
Um, you're passionate about technology. What's your tech stack look like for your company? I'm out of curiosity. What does that look like for you guys?
So our tech stack is probably mainly focused in marketing. We
Okay.
pride ourselves in our marketing area. We have a marketing service coordinator who is fabulous.
Nice.
We have a couple part-time staff people that assist her in the marketing. So our tech stack is really focused around marketing and AI too. I mean,
Yeah.
we really pride ourselves in taking forth the AI and really trying to get it in front of our agents and have them utilize it. And our training is donated or dedicated to IT on every week, right? We talk
Yeah.
about AI. How do they use it, right? We don't just
Yeah.
talk the jargon. We actually are showing you how to use it. So every week there's a session that's going to talk to you about marketing and technology and the different things that are available. And along with your coaching platform too. So there's a lot of great things in your coaching platform that we love.
Oh,
We
good.
absolutely
I
love it.
love it. That's good. And then with your branding and marketing, I think this is such an important differentiator in the marketplace because we all see some companies out there, some offices struggle in that department in their marketing and branding. It doesn't look like it's super professionally done. You guys have an amazing marketing. I've seen it all. It looks absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
Are you a real stickler for that? Are you like really involved and say, hey, this doesn't match my aesthetic? How involved? Because you came from the marketing background, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
you ran the marketing department. So
Right. I
how
did.
involved are you with that now?
Yep, I'm very passionate about that part. So all aspects of the company I'm very involved in. So that's probably very different too. I'm very passionate about all of it. So I have a very specific brand, a very specific message, a very specific idea of what I want people and how I want them to feel when they see our brand. So
Yeah.
yes, I'm very much involved in what goes out and what is seen out there. And
Mhm.
funny you say that because some of the agents that we interview, they're like, "You're not a franchise? We
It
see
looks
you
like
everywhere." We're like, your marketing is like a franchise. So
yeah.
that is always a compliment to me. As an independent, we struggle. It's really hard to be an independent.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've really tried to, overcome those challenges and, just make it work out there for us. So
So with your agents, they're doing some personalization. You allow that with your marketing, so they can come in and take some of your pieces and say, "I'm going to make this my own," right? So you help them with that.
yeah, we absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yes, we love to custom brand things, but obviously and keep our brand intact, right? Because
Yes.
we
Yeah.
know that we have the 42 plus years in the market, almost 43 in a month. And
Yeah.
so we definitely want to help them to kind of set themselves apart, but also still find that brand recognition as a benefit to them.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing too with an independent company is that you want to make sure that you're competing with the franchises, but you also are hyper local in the sense that you're
Yes.
reflecting the community that you're working in. Speak to that a little bit. I mean, you guys are definitely a local company and you're involved actively in the community, I'm sure, and that's got to make a difference in your outreach, right?
For sure. Yeah. So it's for example, I had an agent that joined us back in the spring. She was with another local brokerage. She was like, "I'm trying to get this listing." And I said, "Well, I'd love to help you. I'd love for you to join our company." And she's like, "I've got to get this listing." I said, "Well, come over. Let's see what we can do."
Yeah.
So testimony that clients actually said, "You're going to House of Brokers." They're like, "We're going to list with you."
Wow.
So that right there was very, very powerful for me. And even
Yeah.
today, she'll just say, she goes, "I got that listing because I came back to House of Brokers." So
Right.
that's pretty powerful. And just speaking in our
Mhm.
community knows, trust, and loves House of Brokers. And they just know when they get a House of Brokers agent, they're going to get someone very qualified and educated. Even if it's a brand new agent, they're miles ahead of their competition just because of all the opportunities that we present to them. So That to me is very important. But I think for the community, I think we have just set, kind of a precedent for our brand, that resonates with everyone.
So interesting. Sometimes you go into a company and there's a lot of internal competition, we'll call it, right?
Yeah.
And not necessarily a esprit de corps or a sense of team. I know that's not true for your company. How do you inspire that team kind of feeling or growth, or just that we're all in this together kind of feeling? How do you do that?
Yeah. Yeah. So we do that a lot. So we have obviously internal networking events, we have internal events, we have internal fun competitions, we do book clubs, we do the charity events, obviously, but we also, we have a safe space. So this is definitely a very safe space. And I always tell our agents that when they get hired, that you always find that this is a very safe space for you, which is interesting that they always say we've not heard that anywhere else. Like, I'm like, that's very sad because it's important to me. We know we have safe spaces at home, but why can't our workplace be a safe space? Why can't you
Exactly.
feel comfortable coming and talking to me about anything? I don't care what it is. I want to be there for you. And so we have collaboration events. We have what's called a huddle. We do an HOB huddle every other Tuesday morning following our sales meeting, where it's not on Zoom, it's not recorded. It is a safe environment for you to bring up whatever topic you feel like talking about. It
Love
could
it.
be extremely controversial. It could
Yeah.
be, like the commissions. It could be any of the things that have been going on. We
Yeah.
get really down and dirty and talk about things, but also share solutions. So it's not just there. It's not, a bitch session or anything like that, because I know a lot of companies say, well, that just turns into that. I'm like, I
Yeah.
think you have to have a good moderator to prevent
Mhm.
that, right? You've
Yeah.
got to have
Yeah.
someone that can really keep that topic on the positive. And that's very
Mhm.
important to us that we
Yeah.
all do that, because we're there to share solutions and help each other grow in our careers and not put one another down or say we did something wrong, right? That's just
Mhm.
not the directive of that. So I think that is very important to
Yeah.
our culture. And I think that's really been very helpful for us.
I think that's brilliant. I haven't heard that idea before, where you give them you talk about the safe place. I know people have safe places, but they're not voicing it, not
Yeah.
putting that into like a format, what you're doing, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
With your agents, and because you're a non-competing broker, I'm sure you're somebody that's, when people have a problem, they're bringing you the problem transactionally or with a listing. Like, how much of your day is spent in that, just as a brokerage owner, and you're helping people solve problems? I mean, what does that look like for you?
Well, so I'm very lucky that we have a broker that is a part of our company. So she handles most of those situations on a daily
Okay.
basis.
That's good.
So it is very good because I
Yeah.
think that we have the good guy, bad cop, good cop type of thing going on. So she
Yeah.
gets to be the one that helps them go through the rough things and maybe say some of the rough things. And I'm there kind of as the backup to go, it's okay. We're going to work
Yeah.
through this.
Yeah.
I'm this emotional one, right? I handle the emotion side of it. And
Right.
so it's kind of great that we can work together in that regard. And so we're very fortunate to have that as well. And I think two people being able to work with that agent, it really helps a lot, because not every personality is going to mesh with that broker. And so having,
Exactly.
a little bit differing personalities to handle those situations, it's been very, very positive.
So, and how many people are at your firm now? I know you're growing, but what's your current count?
But yeah, we're at 60.
60. And
Yeah.
so what is the, when you talk about, because you came from staff, what does your staff look like? You got a marketing person, that sounds like. You got your other
Yes.
broker, yourself.
Yep.
What's the other roles at your company?
Yeah, so we have a closing broker in addition to our regular broker. So she handles contract to close. So we still do kind of a hands-on approach for our agents. We manage a lot on the back end side for them. We still input listings for them, input their changes, and things like that. So our marketing service coordinator. Then we also have a full-time digital photographer on staff who
Wow.
does yeah, well, actually, not on staff. I shouldn't say that. On retainer for us, and they're
Gotcha.
exclusive to our brokerage. And so, what that person does is it accentuates our marketing, right? So, they go
Yeah.
out, they do all the photography for our agents, they do the drone, they do floor plans, they do
Wow.
3D renderings, they do AI staging.
Wow.
Um, and then we also provide them with any of their headshots and also any promo videos that they want to do. If they want to go out and promote a certain area, subdivision, he's at their full beck and call at no charge.
No charge. Holy,
no charge.
that's incredible. That's huge. I want to come to work for you because that's an amazing,
Yeah,
amazing
I know,
benefit.
right?
Huge benefit to your office.
It's a big benefit. And one of the reasons, and I know everybody goes, gosh, that's so crazy. How do you do that? Why do you do
Yeah.
that? One of the reasons I do that is because I don't want any listing roadblocks, right? I don't want
Right.
you to say, well, I can't take that listing because I can't afford to do this, or it's going to
Yeah.
cost me too much. So I'm going to shy away from taking listings and just work with buyers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want that to be a roadblock for any new agent. There should be no reason why the marketing is too expensive. I don't want to do that. So
Right.
we've removed that. So they really can't use that excuse.
Well, it's interesting too. I mean, another side point to that is that all the company pictures are going to be spot on, right? And
Got it.
everything's going to look
Yep.
absolutely dialed in. Whereas some
Yes.
offices you'll have great pictures and then terrible pictures.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So there's no
Yeah.
consistency to it. Now your company has complete
Yeah.
consistency on every listing, which is
Yeah.
amazing, brilliant.
It's another one of those, it's a part of my vision. It's a part of
Yeah.
the brand consistency that I just want, I think it's great for all of us. It benefits all of us in the long run.
I'm curious because you're such a branding expert. On your just for myself, with your signage, are your agents allowed to do anything they want on their signs, or do you have a certain nope, the sign's got to be this way and they got a little bit of space to personalize? How does it look for you?
Yeah. So their real estate signs all have to be the real estate sign. Their rider can
Hmm.
be can be decorated, can be colored, can be
Yeah.
all of those things, but the main sign itself has to be consistent among everyone.
And I'll
Yeah.
tell you why that is. We're the same way, but I tell you why that is so smart because sometimes at other companies, they're given so much freedom that there's no brand consistency. So you drive
Right.
around town, they may have great market share, but you wouldn't know it because there's
Yeah.
no brand consistency. So
Right.
that's
Right.
absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah.
super
Lost
smart.
in translation, right?
Lost in
Yeah.
translation. Yeah, there's no like you sing it over and over and over again.
You
Now I
got
know
it.
you guys just implemented, and I just want everybody to hear this. You guys just implemented, I think last year, or maybe you were doing it before, but the open house extravaganza.
Yeah. Actually, this year's the first year.
The
We've
first
had
year.
such great success. Thank you for that idea, by the
Absolutely, of
way.
course.
Love
So
it.
tell us about that. So everybody that hasn't seen that, what does that look like for you guys?
Yeah. So we actually did a Saturday, Sunday open house blitz. So once a month we do an open house blitz. And it's on Saturday and Sunday. So we try to get as many listings of our companies that we can possibly do. We offered open house flags. So for anyone that does an open house, we custom ordered an open house flag with their brand, obviously, or with their colors, but our brand on it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of one of the perks of, having the open house during the blitz. And then we've had such great success. I think we've had over 75 people come through and just our first one was in May.
Yep.
And then so and then September we're looking for a large turnout. And we actually have one coming up this weekend.
So what's interesting about that strategy is that the whole team kind of gets together and they do these open houses on the same weekend. And you get such a collective, the community is like, wow, look at all these signs in the
Yes.
community at the same time. And the
Yeah.
buyers see it and the potential sellers see it. So just a lot of wins that happen there and some
Yeah.
team spirit too, as well.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
and our marketing service coordinator just went crazy. She's phenomenal, but she created a website directly for this where it goes through and lists all of them out on Saturday and all of them out on Sunday. It even has a map that you can like go around to each one. So if they want to do a Saturday tour, they put it in and they can get a custom map directly to their phone.
yeah.
And then see more information about the agent. So we're really highlighting the agent and the team and then also we allow agents to host our open houses to internal. And so we allow that agent to get some attention as well. And then they also get leads. So anybody that clicks through, that lead goes directly to our agent. So I think it's
Love it.
really been extremely beneficial.
Wow. So I just want to talk about marketing in general just for a second on office level marketing. When you're doing office level marketing for, let's say, listings, or you're encouraging your agents to do it in your community, is one platform better than another? Like it's all about social media for you guys, or it's all about this area or that area that gets more traction for you? Is it just everywhere?
It's pretty open. I mean, there is one area that's probably more popular than another, but I think really when it comes down to it, there's really not one specific thing. Social media is pretty big for us, but I think overall it's the signage. I mean, I think the signage is really huge for us. I mean, we
Yeah.
hear a lot of people say, we were driving by, we seen your sign, we stopped, we,
Brilliant.
we thought we'd stop in. So we push social media a lot, but I think it's generational, right? Depending
Yeah.
on where we are. And since We are a college community. We have a large university. We have several other colleges. We're also a great retirement community. So, I mean, we have varying ages. So I think we have to be very diverse in our marketing.
So you guys have a physical location where agents can come to and work in that location, correct?
We absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I know that there's a lot of agents that really value that, and there's a sense that, hey, I want to come to a place where I can work and I'm not at home and I can actually be around other people, and there's some value
Yeah.
to that. Do you find that's like a center point for people that they like to come and get the energy of the office?
Yes, our agents love it. And it's so bizarre because I think every day I'm just like, there's a buzz in here, and
Yeah,
it's just so
yeah,
infectious. And so I love that. And I
mhm,
encourage that, and
mhm.
to be in our mentorship, that's one of the other things. We want to see your face. You need to be live in our trainings. You need to be live in our meetings. And, having that mentorship as in return, right, is one of those qualifications to be in it, is to be in attendance.
Yeah,
And so with that, having them be in here, having our seasoned agents in, and then just the sharing that you hear all throughout the offices. I mean, we have like 20, I think we have 25 agent offices and they're all full. So,
wow,
I mean, on any given day, you're going to see 10, 15, 20 agents in and out of the office. Our sales meetings, usually we have 15 to 30 in live attendance and maybe 10 to 15 on Zoom. So we have very high attendance.
yeah,
And I know that it's not the same for all the brokerages in our market, which I think is so unusual because I would have thought, oh, this is just the way it is in Columbia, right? They want to
yeah,
come to a real office. But I think it's just the culture. I think the culture really lends to that positive environment, that safe space, all of
yeah,
those things where they're just, we want to come in, right? Good
yeah.
things happen when you are with other people. So,
But I do want to kind of end on this, and I think it's so important because you've taken over a company that had a legacy before you. So you came in, and this company was operating before you.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
came in and you made it your own. How did you make it your own? I mean, obviously you kept some of the traditions that were there, but then
Yeah.
you changed it over time and you made it your own. How did that look
Sure.
for that transition?
Well, gosh, that's a big question. So I would say it happened slowly but
Yeah.
quickly. And I
Mhm.
think because I was so dead set on a vision, I had a vision that I knew that this brand could be so much more than it was, even though it had some of the best foundational pieces. And
Yeah.
that was very important to me to keep those foundational pieces intact, but
Mhm.
grow on them.
Yeah.
That's why the brand is really important to me. I'm very passionate about the brand. I know people say you get caught up in your brand, it's just a brand, and I think that's probably true in some markets, but I feel like in our market, it stands for so much more than just that. I think it
Mhm.
stands for trust. And when you have a brand that stands for trust, that you've worked really hard for that.
Yeah.
Trust is something really tough to build in a consumer. And I feel like we've really done that. So I just want to keep expanding on that and keeping
Yeah.
that full-time culture, keeping the knowledge and educated agents, I think is what's going to really, keep that growing and keep that foundation intact.
I'm curious. Last question is, you've got some people that are probably, I'm guessing, that have been at the company longer than you have, right?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
were they all on board for you to come on and take over, and they've been just your biggest cheerleaders, or any resistance, or has it all been just a positive experience?
It was fearful for me to step into that role because I
Yeah.
was, I've stepped in many roles into the company. And when I went into the director of operations prior to stepping into the ownership, that was very uncomfortable for a lot of people. We didn't have any loss at that time. They were just like, oh, wait, now you're different. Now you're leading us and now you're kind of like our boss. I'm like, well, I never want to be looked at as anyone's boss.
Boss, yeah.
I don't like that. I that's not who I am.
Hmm.
I walk beside you. I lead beside
Your
you. I
partner.
hold your hand. I'm a
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah.
And so I've never led that way
Yeah.
as I'm the boss. I just don't. So when I stepped into the ownership role, I probably had a lot more fears than what I should have, especially looking back now.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, this was so exciting. This was meant to be. This is what we've all wanted for the longest time. We know that you've got our backs, that you're a true partner. So for me, it was go looking back, it was absolutely destined to happen.
Yeah.
And knowing that the agents had such great support for it. And I even to this day, they'll come and say, we love that you're doing this. And it
Nice.
still blows me away. And I'm still so very humble about it that sometimes I'm like, oh gosh, I just do what I do. Like there's no accolades. Like I don't understand why you like this so much, but I just do what I do. So, and I even have owners that were, with the company before that are still here. So that's kind of
Wow,
great.
that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
as we wrap up, how can people that are in your market that maybe want to have a conversation with you and talk a little bit more about what you guys are doing? How can they get a hold of you? How can they connect with you?
Oh gosh, so easy. I am available with any means of communication, Facebook, Instagram. You can text me, you can call me at any time. If you want to talk real estate, I love talking real estate. So, and I love to be able to help people. So you can reach out on our website. You can email me. You can, yeah, however you want to reach me, I'm available. I
Anyway
love
and
it.
always. Okay, I love it.
Always. Yes.
All right,
Yep.
Don, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the program. You've dropped a lot of great knowledge and just a great example of how to run a real estate company. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Jim, for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.